Joining us now with reaction, Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce, Project 21 chairman Horace Cooper, and Trump 2024 National Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt. Thank you all for joining us. Tammy, I want to go to you because the optics, the contrast, the execution of what happened here. I mean, you got a dead New York City police officer and nothing from President Biden.
Yeah, it's awful. And yet, it perhaps was one of the most honest evenings we've seen in a very long time. We've always seen honesty with President Trump. One thing about that guy is that you know who he is. He is always going to be himself. He never adjusts the nature of what he's going to say or do to trick people or to pander. And you saw the nature of how he cares about not just police officers and the firefighters, but the nature of blue-collar work. Regular, everyday, anonymous heroes in this country, average citizens putting their lives on the line to keep their own community safe. That is the ultimate of the American ideal. And so that is Trump. And that's what infuses, that kind of empathy infuses what he says and does. No matter, whether you've liked his style or not, that's why he had success. Biden, on the other hand, was completely himself. The Democrats, we used to call them, Jason, you'll recall, limousine liberals. This is nothing new. They've just been caught at the lie that they care about the average individual. This was it was obscene. It was disgusting. It was certainly a lack of empathy. And it's almost as though empathy has been excised from them in some kind of a surgery. And they're all there, laughing it up, having a great time with their big celebrity pals, making lots of money. The ultimate disconnection with the nature of what's happening in this country. Two very distinct visions of what's going on. One, they used to say all roads lead to Rome. That used to be true, right? Different policies, but all to the same place. Yeah. The Democrat road now goes off that freaking cliff, and it is the Republican road, no matter what your politics, that at least lead us to some semblance of a future that we can rely on.
Horace, you don't want to ever see politics injected, particularly at the pinnacle of grief and a grieving family, not just the family of Officer Diller, a beautiful one-year-old boy, grieving wife. You've got just an amazingly difficult situation. But at the same time, I saw zero reports about Joe Biden, the president, trying to call the family. He could have certainly made time to go visit. If you have Air Force, you have Marine One, you have all the assets of the federal government at your disposal to get to wherever you want to get to. And certainly even during a fundraiser, he could have taken 2 minutes and talked from his heart about it. But none of that happened, Horace. None of it happened.
Mm-hmm. What we saw last night was the president's let them eat cake moment. Millions of Americans are suffering because of the mismanagement of this economy. I say this frequently. We're seeing record numbers of foreclosures. People are having their cars repossessed. We are seeing a silent job loss because the reports are now showing that the actual growth in employment is in part-time jobs, not in full-time jobs. It is totally and completely unseemly in this economic environment for our president to say that we're going to try to set a record for the amount raised. No money to help people buy eggs and bacon. No money to make sure that people can afford gasoline. When President Trump was in charge, millions of Americans, the majority of Americans, succeeded. They prospered. They were able to purchase cars. They were able to get homes. It is remarkable, the divergence between the real priorities of this president that we have and his challenger, former President Trump, who was willing to take time and contribute to pay off the mortgage of that slain officer's family. What a contrast.
Karoline, you're close to the president. You obviously act as his spokesperson. Look, my experience with President Trump, he does speak with his heart. He really does care about these officers. But at the same time, you got to find the right balance, right? Because you don't want to disrupt a family and the greater New York City Police Department in what they're trying to deal with. But how do you think the president handled it, and what should have Joe Biden done?
Well, yesterday, Americans witnessed the grave contrast that will be before them on the ballot on November the 5th. You have a man of the people in President Trump who humbly accepted the invitation from Officer Diller's family to pay his respects, to honor the life and the legacy of one of the NYPD's heroes. And just a few miles up the road, you had Joe Biden, a corrupt career politician, joking and laughing with limousine liberals and out-of-touch elitists and big donors who are striking big checks to his campaign, many of whom support the very soft on crime and defund the police policies that led to the heinous killing of Officer Diller, that led to his murderer being arrested and released 21 times prior. And this is not the first time Americans have witnessed this grave contrast between the two presidents they can pick from on Election Day. Just a few weeks ago, I was with President Trump in the great state of Georgia, where he consoled another grieving American family, the parents of Laken Riley, whose beautiful daughter was killed at the hands of an illegal immigrant who Joe Biden allowed into this country and who was also arrested in New York for injuring a child and then released. How many more Americans need to die because of Joe Biden's lawless and feckless policies before he actually cares? The truth is, he doesn't care about the American people. Joe Biden has always cared about one thing, and that is power and control.
So,
he's spent decades in quote-unquote public service ripping off Americans. That's why the American people are choosing President Trump in the polls, and he's winning in every single battleground state right now.
Karoline, Leavitt, Tammy Bruce, Horace Cooper, happy Easter to you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.